West, note taking study guide, page 142. Please be on page 318 in your textbook. Westward expansion. First, they expanded into the Great Plains. This is between the Mississippi and the Rocky Mountains. The problem with this land is that there was thickly rooted grass. It was very hard to clear. So initially, westward expansion actually skipped over the Great Plains. People wanted to get to Oregon and to Washington state. The Great Plains was really just a path to the west initially. The Northwest. This is present-day kind of land between the Rocky Mountains and the Pacific Coast. Mostly it's present-day Oregon, Washington, Idaho. We could also include in that. And it's claimed by the United States at this time, United States, Great Britain, Russia, Spain. And the settlers were attracted there because of fertile farmland. People went there to farm. There was a few missionaries that went there, but for the most part, people went there to farm. And the reason that there was kind of this idea that there needed to be this westward expansion in the first place is this idea of manifest destiny, which we've already discussed in class. From the beginning, American expansion was interested in westward expansion. The Louisiana Purchase doubled the size of the nation, helped this goal. But 40 years later, the idea of manifest destiny became very popular. This is the idea that the United States should stretch from coast to coast, and that it was not only it should, but it was destined by God to do that. And if you look at that a painting that we analyzed, there's another picture of that painting that we analyzed in class. Mexican settlement. The Southwest included the present-day states of California, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and half of Colorado. Spanish missions. The purpose of these was to convert the local Native Americans to Catholicism, and the effect of this is that thousands of Native Americans died from overwork and disease, because many of these Native Americans, even they were supposed to be Christianizing them, they were actually forced to work in farms and things like that. So they kind of have this blended culture in the Southwest. At first, you have the Spanish influence of law, religion, language. You have Native American influence, which is building materials, goods. What kind of goods were created? You had Creole influence. This is children born in the Southwest of Spanish settlers. And you had Mestizo, which were Spanish settlers, Africans, and Native Americans. So you had a blend of all these kind of different cultures. Under the Spanish rule, trade was illegal with any nation but Spain. So if you lived in the Southwest, you could only trade with Spain. You couldn't trade with Britain. You couldn't trade with the United States. Once Mexico gained their independence, it opened trade with foreign nations. Under Spanish rule, land grants were given mostly to a few peninsulars, and missionaries were removed from church control. Their land was given, as land grants to rancheros and American settlers. Much of the land belonged to Native Americans, who responded by raiding ranches. So the land was given to rancheros and American settlers, but actually it belonged to Native Americans in the first place. But that's kind of, as our history goes, in Native Americans were basically ignored, and the land that they owned was basically taken from them. But soon they were crushed, population declined, and there's out of the Southwest comes Geronimo, is a famous Indian who fought against westward expansion.